Everyone, okay, quiet down over, anywhere near Ron Saunders, everyone quiet down over there. We're going to get started. Since it's been a couple years, some of you are new, tonight's event is called the Call for Candidates. And what makes it's unique in a couple of ways. And our invitation might have been a little unclear because we have candidates that are termed out and such. They still are on the dais, so they get to talk to you all the time. We're not inclined to bring them up. This is about people that are going to be running for office. So there's some people that are here tonight that have already filed and announced. They're definitely going to speak if they're here. We're also going to allow, if anybody is thinking of running, they'll get to come up too. And you all can help me if I forget to invite them as we're going along. Remind me, usually somebody will. We're going to give each candidate about 2 minutes to speak. We had a timer somewhere, but shows my timer. And for the candidates, we try to be very polite. If you see me come up and stand next to you, it's time. Okay, so we're not going to yank them, we're not going to cut you off unless we have to. As we go, we'll talk a little bit. Let's just get started with a couple of candidates. First up, for the public defender, Robert Lockwood is in Peru, so it's very difficult for him to make it here. But he did send his regrets. Is there anybody looking to run for public defender? All right, we will move down to tax collector, the next most popular person. Yeah, so we have a current tax collector. I think he's still going to run again. So Sam, you have 2 minutes. Tell us about yourself.
Can I take this off? Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Steele, and it has been an honor to serve as your tax collector. I would love to have your support as I seek re-election this year again. During my first campaign, I ran on my pledge to innovate and modernize the tax collector's office, and my staff and I have worked diligently to bring that vision into fruition. Through process improvements, we have created several new efficiencies for the public, and by the use of state-of-the-art technology, we have streamlined and added additional services. We have increased our enforcement on vacation rentals, and we've also been awarded and recognized on the state level for our financial operations, innovation, and perfect audits. I think the biggest takeaway for me for the first 3 years in office is I've learned that a lot of people don't realize how many services we actually provide and how important the role of a tax collector is within local government. At one point or another, every single resident in Monroe County is going to have some type of interaction with our office, whether it's paying your property tax, getting a driver's license, renewing registration, the list goes on. I want to ensure that you have the most pleasant and convenient experience and receive the best possible customer service from any government office that you walk into. I'm extremely proud of all the accomplishments we had in just a few years, but this is only the beginning. If you were to ask the most talented person in any given field, they will tell you that there is always room for growth and improvement, and I will not stop looking for ways for us to get better for you. I have a genuine passion for public service. I truly love what I do. So thank you for your time and support, and best of luck to all the candidates.
Anybody looking to run for tax collector? As one note, Sam won an award as most popular politician in the Keys. Only in the Keys does the tax collector have any popularity whatsoever. Yeah. Moving down, we're going to go to Clerk of Courts, Kevin Maddock. Kevin, come on up.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you, Hometown, and thank all of you for your interest in the process. My name is Kevin Maddock, and I'm honored and privileged to have served as your clerk for the past 8 years. And I understand by the nature of the title of the position, it's hard to understand what we do. But if you're involved in any court proceedings, then our support for the judiciary is the most important thing we do from your perspective. If you're buying a house or refinancing or getting married, then our official records is the most important service we provide at that given time for you. If you do business with the county, if you're building a fire station or EOC, then our comptroller duties are the most important thing we do for you. And if you're researching county documents and contracts and agreements, our clerk to board is the most important thing we do for you at that given time. And for everybody else, the Constitution tasks me through the audit powers to ensure that your local government and any agency or vendor that does business with the county is accountable, honest, and efficient. And for the rest of you, that's the most important thing we do for you. I'm proud of the team we have. We work very hard on all those disciplines because we know each one of those is important to a different member of the community at any given time. And I look forward to doing better and continuing to serve in all those aspects. And I ask for your support. Again, Kevin Maddock, Clerk for Court. Thank you.
All right. Is anybody looking to run for Clerk of Court? We'll bring up another exciting elected office. Scott Russell, property appraiser. It's all yours.
Again, as I've just introduced, my name is Scott Russell. I'm your property appraiser. I've been the property appraiser now for roughly 12 years. It's a job that I'm passionate about. Monroe County is a very unique county to value. I'm an appraiser by trade. I've been appraising in Monroe County now for over 30 years, I believe, and in both the private and public sector. It's a job that requires a lot of knowledge of the local market with regards to the restrictions and the other items that external forces that are affecting or driving up values. And it's key that the property appraiser's office completes a fair and equitable role. And it's my task to do that. I enjoy it. My staff would not necessarily, they'd like for me to step back a little bit, but I'm still heavily involved in the actual appraisal of the commercial property. If you own commercial property and have a question, you will end up on the phone with me. So I'm not just an administrator, I'm still actually an appraiser. I love what I do, genuinely love what I do. It's the only thing I've done in Monroe County since getting out of college. So it's a field that I have a passion for, and I'm glad to be able to use it with regards to the public. And again, it's something that I hope to continue on doing as long as I can have your support as the property appraiser. Love the job, can't imagine doing anything else, and I think it's a job in which, experience is key. Thank you all, and I look for your support. If anyone hasn't signed a card, please find me. I can need some petitions signed. Thank you.
Anyone looking to run for property appraiser? Right, we're going to go into our law enforcement section. We want all these guys to like you, and they want you to like them. But we'll start with County Judge of the 4th District. Group 4. This is James Morgan III. His first time ever in front of this audience, so you get to meet him.
It is. Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm County Judge James Morgan. This is, in fact, my first time here, so thank you for having me. I currently sit in the Middle Keys Division as a county court judge. I have a special appointment also as a circuit court judge, so I do some work in the circuit court. I was going to spend the first minute telling you a little bit about myself and about my family, and then the second minute telling you a little bit about what we've accomplished in Marathon and with the judiciary, both at the local and the state level. So, I'm a proud Marine Corps veteran. I served about 9 years active duty. I'm still in the reserves. I'm the operations officer for my reserve unit up in Miami. I'm happily married. My wife is with our 2-year-old and 7-year-old up in Marathon. She couldn't be here today, but I know that she would have loved to. The first time that the United States government didn't tell me where to live, I chose Monroe County, and I proudly moved here back in 2018. I worked for 3 years at the Office of the Public Defender under, he's in Peru today, but Robert Lockwood, who's the elected public defender. For a short period of time, I worked with Spotswood Companies, And then when the opportunity came, when Judge Becker, who had served 31 years as the sitting county court judge up in Marathon, retired, I was extremely glad and blessed to have been appointed to the county judge position by Governor DeSantis. So I've been serving for 2.5 years, and it's been great. During that time, we've had quite the commitment to technological advances in the courtroom. As you may know, Marathon is right in the middle of a very long geographic area. It's an hour, 15 minutes, an hour and 20-minute drive from my courtroom to the north and to the south. So we welcome that technology, and I have to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would appreciate your support, and thank you so much for welcoming me, Judge Morgan, in 2024. Thank you.
Thanks. Of course, the first person I cut off is a judge. Well, this was our introduction to the judge. I think everybody knows this next guy, Sheriff Rick Ramsey.
Hey friends, I'm glad to be here with you tonight. Great crowd. Thank you for coming out here. I tell you what, I've been with the sheriff's office now as an officer for 37 years. I'm on my third term, 12 years as your sheriff. Been one of the highlights of my life. I love this job. I love this community. I'm committed to this community and you. I think over the time we've been here, we've seen some great stuff from the sheriff's office. We're seeing the sheriff's office at record low crimes. We're seeing the sheriff's office at double the clearance rates of any state or national agencies. We're clearing major index crime twice as good as anybody else. We are so invested in our community policing. So many agencies talk about it, but talk is cheap in life, right? We talk it, we walk it, we back it up. Community policing is one of my true foundations. We're talking about partnerships with our citizens, trying to have the public relations back and forth, which is so critical. We need to know you. You need to know us. I tell my officers, if the citizens know us, they're going to like us, trust us, and respect us. If they don't know us, they can't like us, they can't trust us, they can't respect us. I make it so important for my men and women to be part of our community. Rotary, chamber, leadership, nonprofits, doing stuff, giving out, being there, being visible, being accessible. It's paid off so many times for our efficiency and effectiveness. I tell people all the time, we are so effective, not only because of the internal great men and women in the sheriff's office, because of the partnership we have with our state, local, federal police agencies, but number 3, the relationships that we have with you, our citizens, is critical. I consider you an extension of the sheriff's office, and that's why working together, this community is so safe, so secure. It's one of the best places ever to live, work, and play. I'm blessed to say that. I always talk about fiscal responsibility. From day one, that's been one of my cornerstones. Every year as your elected sheriff, I return back generally between $1.5 and $2 million of unspent money, which I could do something with. I treat your money like my money. This past year, I gave back $2.7 million to help keep your taxes and millage rates down, give back to our commission. Thank you. Get back to our commission leaders to do good stuff in our community. That's what we hope so. So in today, I got friends here from PBA who represent the men and women of the Sheriff's Office. They've endorsed me. Thank you very much for the internal support. Thank you for the external support. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Rick. Rick got 10 minutes of stuff in two and a half minutes, so very impressive. So, is there anybody looking to run for sheriff? Doesn't look that way. Next up, our state attorney, another guy you want to be nice to, Dennis Ward.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dennis Ward, state attorney, 16th Judicial Circuit. You probably heard a lot about that circuit here over the last year. Remember, and I haven't had an opportunity to speak to a whole lot of people since this happened, but Tallahassee wanted to consolidate us with Miami's judicial system. And when we heard about that, we got the word out. All our media partners, the newspapers, the radio shows. I was on television on Channel 10 this week in South Florida to fight this thing, because the last thing we needed was to be under Dade County's judicial circuit. So that was a big fight, and we couldn't have done it without you. There was surveys that were given to the people to comment on whether they wanted to see this happen or not. And the Florida Keys, Monroe County, the 16th Judicial Circuit led in surveys completed and sent in. We had close to 1,800. And it was it was so much more than other circuits that they said, hey, they got to be cheating down there. I said, no, we don't cheat in the keys. So Bob Schillinger, our county attorney, went up there and said, no, we don't cheat. But it was a great turnout, and we couldn't have done that without the help of everybody in Monroe County. Republicans, Democrats, independents, no party affiliates. Everybody took part in this thing, and it changed the whole mindset of those people in Tallahassee. The last thing the Speaker of the House said to me was, I'm really sorry that I called out the Florida keys. And I said, don't worry, we won't hold it against you. Maybe. So anyway, I'm running again, and I appreciate working with Sheriff Ramsey. And today I was in Judge Morgan's courtroom. I'm usually in front of him slinging misdemeanors because I'm down like 1/3 of my lawyers. So anyway, thank you. It's great to see everybody. Todd's giving me the boot.
Thank you, Dennis. Two things as we move on from our constitutional officers. One, Dennis had those cards. Everybody in this room, if you haven't and you're a voter, you should sign a card for everybody. It doesn't mean an endorsement. It's hard to run. And on that, along those lines, you realize that all these constitutional officers that you've just heard from, there's a chance that they're all going to run unopposed. And I'm not really sure what that means about the keys, because that didn't used to happen. And now they're happy with it. But as far as a democracy, it's supposed to be about elections, and you can't have them if nobody runs. That editorial aside, for hometown, we'll move on to U.S. House of Representatives. This is currently held by Carlos Jimenez. I don't think he's here, but he does have an opponent that's here. Commander Phil Air. Commander Phil Air. Phil, this is his first time here. 2 minutes.
All right, this is my name is probably a mistake. My name is Phil Air. I'm a Commander, United States Navy, retired, and I'm running for the United States House of Representatives. To get to know what motivates me, I need to take you back to 1980, the Mario boat lift. Cast your eyes over there and remember that about 60 miles over that horizon, it was hot, sea swells all around, and we were rescuing people. I was on one of the motherships as a 19-year-old Navy sailor. The look on a woman's face is seared in my mind, and her 2 small children, and her husband by her side was so filled with gratitude because we were there. Because I was a young sailor, that experience, along with knowing that we repudiated a cruel regime, and we had the backing of the Carter administration who ordered it, and later the Reagan administration and Republicans who liked the fact that we got a bunch of good, solid citizens coming to our country. That's what sealed my commitment to service for the next quarter century in the United States Navy. So I am Phil Air. I advanced from Navy seaman to commander in a 26-year active duty career. I flew EP-3s in the Navy, reconnaissance in the Cold War, combat support in Desert Storm, and I helped to oversee some combat operations in the Balkans. I was on shore duty. I was privileged to provide consequential strategic advice to senior leaders in Washington, Silicon Valley, London, and NATO. And I just returned from Ukraine delivering humanitarian aid as an independent volunteer, showing my commitment. Look, we need to look. And we're all about freedom and democracy. So what am I all about? Solving problems, not creating and exacerbating and hyping problems. Solutions, not problems. And fighting for democracy, freedoms, and our prosperity. How am I doing for time? Phil Air, EHR, retired Navy, Democrat, Florida, 28.
Thank you, Phil. Moving on, we have a few races. I'm not sure we have anybody here, but is there anybody else for U.S. House of Representatives? All right, we'll move to State Senate. I know Ana Maria Rodriguez is our current state senator. She is up in Tallahassee because legislature is still going. When we scheduled this, we did our best, but we can never, whatever we did was messed up something. So unfortunately, went over the House and Senate. We'll move down to State Representative. Jim Mooney sends his regrets. He's in Tallahassee as well, but he has an opponent here. Michael, come on up. Michael Elgin Travis. Michael, I think this is his first time speaking to us, so welcome him.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Travis, better known as Erica Rose, a drag entertainer 801. I'm standing here in my war paint answering the call to arms that the state legislature and our wonderful governor has declared a culture war here in Florida. I am standing up because every student has a right to unbiased education. Every person has the right to live their life to their fullest as their authentic self, and every woman has the right to govern her own body. But more importantly than that, we also need representatives that represent the will of the people. Too often our state cuts the hands of our local administration, tying their hands so that they can't do what the people want done in their society. So yes, human rights, no more preemption, keep calm and stay fabulous.
Thank you, Michael. It takes a lot to get up here for the first time. So, one little thing, and this will be an education thing as we go on throughout the year. We love applause. We don't do boos. So, years ago, we've been doing this almost 20 years, and only in the last few years have we had issues with people booing or catcalling, and we're not gonna do that. We're better than that. So just keep that in mind. No names or pointing anybody out, but applause or silence. Silence is pretty powerful. If you don't like something, just don't applaud. So, moving along. We're moving in the county commission. Craig Cates is flying in. If he gets here before the end of the event, we'll bring him up. But he's not here right now. He gives his apologies. He's in Vegas, and we can't talk about what he did in Vegas, evidently. Is there anybody looking to run against Craig for county commission? All right, we'll move on to the next seat. The next seat is currently held by Jim Scholl, and he's on his way up here. That is District 3. Jim, come on up.
Thanks, Todd. And everybody, you can't do this in this community without somebody who spearheads this, and Todd and his whole team did a great job like they do all the time putting this together. So thanks, Todd, to you, your board, and your team. We really appreciate it. All right, I'm Jim Scholl. I think many of you know me. If you don't know me, I graduated from college in Ohio, Miami University. There's only one in the country. It's not in Florida. And I was in Navy ROTC. I did 28 years active duty in the Navy. My last duty station was here as the commanding officer of Naval Air Station Key West. Retired in 2006. Became the city manager of Key West in 2007. Retired in 2012. Got the job again in 2014 and retired in 19. And then the governor appointed me to this seat when it was vacant, and the last election in 2022 I was unopposed. But Jolene, my wife, and my two kids moved down here in 2003. My kids both graduated from Key West High School. My son's a South Florida Bull from up there in Tampa, and Katie's a Gator, for all of you Gator fans, University of Florida graduate. But when I retired, I lived all over the country, and we made this our home. We've been here 21 years, and we're staying. So I love government. Not a real big fan of all the politics that kind of interferes with good governance, but there's a lot going on in the county, and it's pretty complex. As the commanding officer of the base, I obviously developed relationships with the county and the city, and those relationships still continue to this day. Federal government connections, state government connections, and all the local folks that I get to talk to. And government's not easy, but government's important. We're here for health, safety, and welfare. We know the issues with traffic. We know the issues with taxes. We know the issues with insurance. And the resilience and the adaptation that faces this county right now is a real challenge. And we're going to keep moving forward on those issues with the county government and working with our municipal government partners and try to solve those major issues. on the tax side. You know, our ad valorem tax is very... All right, enough said. I'm running for District 3 again. Appreciate it. You were supposed to post me. I didn't know
Sheldon let me down. And Jim is the worst retiring person ever. They're recording on that, yes. Chris. So Jim has an opponent, Chris Moussicott. Chris's first time, welcome him.
Hey everybody, my name's Chris Moussicott. I'm running for County Commissioner in District 3. I am a former accountant and auditor. I worked for a company called PricewaterhouseCoopers after I graduated from college. And then I worked at the University of Pennsylvania as an auditor there. And I audited places like the Wharton School and the hospital at the University of Pennsylvania. And I decided to run because I read a letter to the editor in the Citizen. And somebody had said that the county commission had just passed the largest, or they were discussing passing the largest tax increase in the history of Monroe County. I'm like, that can't be right. So I did some research and I looked and I'm like, oh my God, they really did pass the largest tax increase in the history of Monroe County. Our budget now stands at $667 million for 83,000 people. We spend far more than any other county in Florida per person. And we also tax everybody far more than anybody per person. And I tried to do a little bit more digging and trying to figure out like what are we spending this on? And I really can't figure it out. And I don't understand why our budget is skyrocketing so much. And I really thought about like how does that affect people who live here, people who work here? And, you know, so many people, all of us have had that conversation with somebody. Do you know where if I can find an apartment where I can live? My landlord's selling this house. I can't stay here anymore. And, you know, I'm just tired of watching my friends leave. And they're leaving because the cost of living is skyrocketing. And we're not doing them any favors by continuing to increase taxes because they're not exempt by homestead exemptions. If you rent here, your taxes went up 18%. Your landlord doesn't show you his tax bill, but he does transfer that on to you when he does that. So that's why I'm running. I'm running as a fiscal conservative. I am a Democrat, but I believe, and the reason why I am a Democrat is because I believe there is a role for government to improve the lives of their residents. But what I'm not for is wasting money. And we've seen that with the TDC audits. We've seen all of these things. And we need a voice on the county commission that's going to speak up and say, hey, enough is enough. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh. Let me see that. Wait. Thank you, Chris. We've got a white Genesis with the license plate is Lady C. You got to move it. It's blocking a whole bunch of stuff. So just sneak out early. We won't look for you. But before I bring up our next county commission candidate, is there anybody else for County Commission District 3 looking to run? Right. Sheldon makes me say this, but it is super important. If you haven't joined Hometown, we would like you to do that because this does cost money. And something important, like every other membership in the world, if you joined 5 years ago, you got to join again. You know, it's an annual membership. The whole board does. I see a lot of faces that have done it. So please, if you like these, and we're going to do a bunch more events, and we try to make them fun and worthwhile, and all this food and everything, it's not free, and you got to pay your own drinks. So that said, oh, and there's a QR code on your table, I believe, and if you know what a QR code is, then you know how to use it. Then that will help you join Hometown. So we're going to move on to County Commission District 5, which represents Key Largo. I know we have our current commissioner here, Holly. Come on up. Holly Merrill Rashai, the most fashionable candidate of the night so far.
Thank you so much, Todd, and thank you to Hometown PAC and your illustrious board, and also to Richard Salute for always hosting us. It's one of my favorite events, and we think, I don't know how many of these I've done, dozens perhaps? Yes, and why not be here on this beautiful day? And about 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I moved here to begin my career in public service, and I knew right away that I wanted to commit my life to the Florida Keys. I served as a legislative aide on both sides of the aisle for 10 years, And then I ran as your state representative and served in Tallahassee for 8 whole years, where I worked on legislation to promote and protect and conserve our natural resources. I brought home tens of millions of dollars for arts, for the environment, for water projects, for housing, for our schools. And speaking of our schools, I championed public policy that strengthens our fine, fine institutions here in the Florida Keys, whether it was our public schools or the now called College of the Florida Keys. I almost said FKCC, but I changed the name, so I should better call it by its right name. And folks, I took a little break from public service. I tried out the private sector. It's been an adventure. And then unfortunately, we suffered a major loss in August of 2021 when we lost then Commissioner Mike Forrester, another wonderful public servant. The governor appointed me to fill his spot. I subsequently had to show up at Hometown PAC in 2022. And 30 seconds already. My gosh. So it's been an honor serving as your mayor. I am the current mayor. I'll be running, obviously, in 2024. We've got a lot of issues in front of us as a county. Major ones like the hurricane evacuation model chat that we're going to be having up and down the Keys. We could talk about the TDC all night, but I'll save that. And folks, it's just been really the biggest honor, other than having my son, who's 12. I'm proud to say that I'm raising the next generation of the Florida Keys. We've got a lot of issues. I think it was mentioned before. Housing, transportation, the environment. We're going to keep working on this. It's been the honor of my life. I love the Florida Keys. You're in my heart. I'm Holly Merrill Rashine. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Holly. She's been with us our whole 20 years, I think, in various positions, and she doesn't retire well like Jim Scholl. Holly has an opponent who's announced, Jose Peixoto, who is almost always at our events. Is Jose here? I do not see him. If he does get here late, maybe there was traffic up the Keys in Almirada or something, let us know and we'll bring him up here. Is there anybody else looking to run for that seat? All right, we're going to move along to mosquito control. Mosquito control, District 1, Jill Craney Black. She texted me she couldn't make it. Is there anybody else looking to run for that seat? Oh, John wants a drink. I thought you were going to run. Good timing. All right, is there anybody besides John going to run for mosquito control? Let's move to seat number, mosquito control 3. That's Brandon Pinder. Is Brandon here? Is anybody looking to run for that seat? All right, we will move to mosquito control 4, Stan Zuba. Stan, good. It is good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Stan Zuba. My major profession is a pediatrician in the Upper Keys in Tavernier. I've lived here for 28 years. In 2016, when Zika, if you all recall, was a big problem down here and all across the country, I decided to run for mosquito control because it is a vector-borne illness that is transmitted by mosquitoes. And I thought that somebody with a medical background would be really important to have on the board. And sure enough, it turned out that it was. And I'm proud to say that we were one of the few places that never had a case of Zika in the Florida Keys or in Monroe County, whereas all the rest of Florida had a lot of cases. And that's due to our great staff, our great leadership, and Director Leal. I love my job. My job is politics, finances, and science. Who could ask for anything more? My 3 favorite things. And you all are sitting here because of my people that are working their butts off underwater, sort of. They are underwater a lot of times, digging and finding these larvae. When I ran on the position of limiting pesticides. I don't like pesticides or adulticides, and we have limited them more and more each year. We now do much more larviciding, which is environmentally friendly. It has no harm on any environmental habitat whatsoever or in any environmental specimens or creatures. So I am going to run for one more term because I really love it. And you guys are really fortunate to have the people that make my job so easy. And I thank you all for coming tonight. And one quick thing that I'd like to say, Tom McDonald, who was a lifelong, I don't know how to say this. He was a lifelong member of Mosquito Control and also in a lot of different areas. He passed away this year. And I just want to, he was my dear friend and he was my colleague on Mosquito Control, and I miss him dearly. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. We all miss Tom. Anybody looking to run for Stan's seat or the seat that he currently holds? We'll move down to Keys Energy. Tim Root. Tim, are you here? I actually talked to Tim the other day, and we had an interesting conversation, but he's not here. Is anybody looking to run for that seat? Move down to the lower Keys for Keys Energy, Pat Labrada. Is Pat here? Anybody looking to run for that seat? Ileana, no? Okay. We will close off that. Now we're going to get in some of the contested seats, but I should make a point. We just went through 5 seats that are probably all going to go uncontested. Goes to our point earlier. Maybe it's part of the population shift in the Keys or something to pay attention to on top of all the other issues we have. So I want to shout out to Salute, Richard and company. Fantastic. I gotta say, 5 minutes before we started, it looked empty out there, and I was really worried. Not anymore. Let's move to Supervisor of Elections. This is an open seat. I know Joyce is here. Unfortunately, we're not going to let Joyce speak, but wave, Joyce, if you're out there, and thank you for all your years of service. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Now, there she is in the corner. Thank you, Joyce. Now, as a constitutional officer, it's a partisan seat, which is kind of, you'd think of all the seats in the world to be nonpartisan, it would be supervisor of elections, but it is not. So, we have a primary coming. For the primary, we have 2 people. We have Sherry Hoodies and Margaret Romero. Why don't we start off, Sherry? I know you're here. I see your people everywhere. Sherry, come on up. I think Sherry is new to politics, so welcome her. This is tough for the first time. Sherry, 2 minutes.
Okay, hi everyone. I am so excited to be here tonight. I'm excited to be running for Monroe County Supervisor of Elections. I have lived in Sugarloaf since 2008, and Perry and I, my husband, we have a small photography business. A lot of you out there have supported us, and we appreciate that so much. That photography business is Perry Hody's Photography. So if you've had anybody in school or sports, you know who we are. Very excited to also, when we got moved down here in 2008, to be part of different volunteer organizations, actually helped to save the old 7 Mile Bridge. I was on that board. So let's talk about the Supervisor of Elections job. We all know Joyce has done a great job. She's a fabulous person, and it is a constitutional office, but it's also an administration office. So how can I help that office? I have 4 degrees, bachelor's and master's, all in administration and human resources. I have a certificate in paralegal studies. My work experience at Honda of America up in Ohio, as well as at education, screams administration. You could not ask for a more qualified administrator for that job. Along with that, I want to say also that I have never worked for the Supervisor of Elections office, but what I have done is made a lot of phone calls to different supervisors of elections, whether in Ohio or in Florida, and I have benchmarked what their best practices are, of which Joyce has done most of all of that, of course. I have a love and a passion for this job. I know how to roll up my sleeves and work hard. I worked on the assembly line. I know what it means to work hard. I know most of what this job demands, and I'm ready to work for you. I am all about transparency and integrity. I'll be looking at all kinds of things, whether security or audits or operational transparency. So the last thing I'll say is I'm excited and prepared and ready to be your next Supervisor of Elections. Thank you. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Sherry. Nice job. Now, Sherry will have has an announced primary opponent for the Republican side of Margaret Romero. Margaret has run many times. I haven't seen her tonight. Margaret, are you out there? Has anybody seen her? All right, well, then we will move on. Is there anybody else looking to run for the Republican side of Supervisor of Elections? We will shift over to the Democratic side. First guy up, maybe the only, is a fellow you probably have heard of. Got him, Ron Saunders. Come on up, Ron. You're going to do this again, huh? Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for Hometown for hosting us once again. I am Ron Saunders. I'm a fifth-generation native of the Keys, and I'm running for Monroe County Supervisor of Elections. For the past 6 years, I was a news person on USN Radio, and I hosted a show called Evening Edition. One of my regular guests was our current Supervisor of Elections, Joyce Griffin, and one of my shows, she announced she was not running for re-election. And that concerned me because we're going to lose all that experience there. After the show, my very first call was from Sheriff Rick Ramsey. He said, Ron, I listened to Joyce on the radio. You should think about running for supervisor. I said, Rick, remember, I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican. He said, Ron, for that position, it shouldn't matter. We need somebody that can run that office without impartiality. You have to be impartial and fair. And I thought, Monroe County voters elected me 7 times to represent them in Tallahassee legislature, where I was twice elected by an independent panel as the most effective member of the 120 members of the House. I gained a reputation working well with members of both political parties. I'm an attorney who helped write state election laws when I was a legislator. So I called Joyce and I said, Joyce, if you don't run, I'm thinking about running for your position. She said, Ron, if you do that, I'll tell you what I tell everybody else, you should be a volunteer poll worker. So as usual, I listened to Joyce and I signed up to work in the 2022 primary and general elections. I went to all the training sessions, I assisted with early voting and vote by mail, and I worked at the polls on election day. And Joyce, as usual, was correct. I did learn a lot, how elections are worked and conducted behind the scenes. I've been a candidate on front, behind the scenes, a whole different ballgame. And I really appreciated her giving that advice. So today, I'm running to continue the great job that Joyce has done as supervisor in fairly and impartially conducting safe and secure elections for all Monroe County voters. So tonight, I ask for your support and your vote for Ron Saunders for Supervisor of Elections. Thank you.
Nice job. Thanks, Ron. Anybody else looking for the Democratic side of Supervisor Elections office? Right. We will move down to the school board. We have a contested race so far and this is at the District 2 is the seat held since time eternal by Andy Griffith. And I actually think he is if he wasn't the longest serving school board member in the state of Florida, he was number 2. So you got to give him a lot of credit for that. But he is in Miami. He actually called me earlier. When he thought he was going to get to speak, he was going to drive. I said, Ron, I'm not going to let you speak, so don't. So he's up there enjoying his retirement, or what's going to be a retirement. He has 2 opponents. First up will be Yvette Mira Talbot. Yvette, come on up. 2 minutes. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yvette Myra Talbot, and I am the candidate for Monroe County School Board District 2. I'd like to take 2 minutes to tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm the most qualified candidate for this very important role. I'm a 5th-generation Keys resident. I went through the Monroe County school system, and I graduated from Florida State University. I guided my own 3 children through the public school system and FSU. I have been and continue to be actively involved with the school system as a parent, a grandparent, and a philanthropist, working with many organizations that benefit the youth of Monroe County. I have been a mentor in the Take Stock in Children program, and I have served on the Education Committee for the Key West Chamber of Commerce. Recently, I completed my term as a foundation board member for the College of the Florida Keys. Right now, I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Key West and a longtime board member for Wesley House Family Services. As a school board member, I would work to ensure that our school system is something we can continue to be proud of, that we would work on retaining teachers and staff by finding ways to keep them here to live and work. I would also like to work on improving student performance by offering teachers and students all of the necessary resources to be successful. I would like to work on growing the career and technical education program by making it a priority and working with the local businesses to give these students the work experience. And most importantly, I would be constantly on watch to make sure that our schools continue to be safe and secure for our children and our staff. I have had over 30 years of successful business experience in Monroe County, and I have given a lifetime of service to this community, making children and education my top priority. I would like to continue to advocate for the children of Monroe County, but I cannot do it without your support. So I humbly ask for your vote on August 20th to make me the next Monroe County School Board member, District 2. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Yvette. I saw her timing it earlier, and it's always so hard. It was perfect. You're fine. Also running for this seat is Zach Bentley. Where are you, Zach? Come on up. Zach is new to politics, so give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Bentley. I'm running for Monroe County School Board District 2. Our school board oversees one of our county's largest budgets. Most of that comes from our property taxes. The decisions made by our school board have a direct impact on our greatest asset, our children. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Key West. I'm a third generation. I graduated Key West High School in 1997, got a degree in hospitality, and moved home to start a light tackle charter fishing business. Been a realtor since 2005 and co-founded an insurance agency in 2015. I serve as president of a board of a condo association, and I'm a member of Sunrise Rotary and serve on that board as well. But the most pertinent and important experience of my life is the opportunity to be married to my beautiful wife and raise two wonderful children who are here supporting me. I would not and could not do this without them. What are our school's most pressing issues? We need to be able to retain and attract quality teachers with classroom management skills. Our teachers, they do a lot for us, and due to the high cost of living and housing, we are at a severe disadvantage. We need to build affordable housing in order to provide our teachers with stability and security that they deserve. The second and equally important issue that I feel is plaguing us is the disproportionate number of ELL students in our schools. They, pardon me, this is my first time for sure. This inequity is stressing the ELL students and the teachers, and it's compromising the students who already speak fluent English. So listen, our schools, they have a bunch of problems, there's no doubt. All schools do, but schools today face a lot of challenges. My pledge to you is this: I will never vote to increase your taxes, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that our tax dollars are spent in the classroom where they belong. Thank you. Zach Bentley, Monroe County School Board.
Nice job, Zach. That's very difficult to do for the very first time in front of all you friendly people. So, anybody else for District 2 School Board? We'll move down to District 3. We have an incumbent, Mindy Kahn. Mindy, come on up. Mindy is not shy, so she will definitely do it.
Not shy and never have been. Hello, everybody. I'm Mindy Kahn. I am your current school board member for District 3. I've been 2 terms in this office, and I'm looking to be elected for a 3rd. We've been working on a lot of projects at the school district. We're building new schools. We're building beautiful fields up and down the Keys. We're working to get out of the COVID slump that affected academics. It is a process, and we are focusing a lot of our energy in that area. In addition, we're working on housing for our teachers. Now, I believe very strongly the school district has no business in real estate. So what we've done is we've taken land that we already own and we're leasing it to a construction company, and they're going to run the project. But by doing so, what we do is we allow teachers and other staff members, because we have paraprofessionals, we have maintenance workers, we have bus drivers, and they don't make nearly as much as teachers do. And this gives us the ability to house the people that need to live here in order to run our schools. So we've moved very far in a very short amount of time, and it's very exciting for me that this is coming on board. We've added academic programs, and our grades are raising. It's time consuming, but our staff, our teachers, everybody's doing a great job. Teacher pay, raises. We're either the first or second highest paying county in Florida. And we know we still have to get higher, right? Because we're probably not the first or second county in cost of living. It's so expensive to live here. We really need to give everybody a chance to work in this wonderful place that we call home. So please, everyone, vote for Mindy Kahn, School Board District 3, and thank you so much to Hometown and to Richard Salute. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Mindy. You can tell we're in the home stretch because I got a glass of wine. So, moving into the city races, but before we do, can you hear me in the back? If you can, there's two reasons. One, we've got a really great audience tonight. You've been incredibly well behaved. And audio, video in paradise, Kelly here, the Wizard of Oz behind the thing. You don't think she's moving all the time because some people are over here and everything. So she's been with us for 20 years, and our events are great because of her. So moving on to the city. Key West Mayor, we have an open seat, which is a really big deal. We have one announced candidate, Didi Enriquez. Didi, you want to come up? Two-ish minutes. We're at the end here. So.
Oh, good. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Since we're almost at the end. As he said, my name is Denise Didi Henriquez. I was previously known as your Monroe County tax collector for almost 20 years and 31 years in public service. I feel and strongly feel that it is time for change. And it is time for us to come together as our community and make our community stronger. Back in October, I announced that I was running for the City of Key West mayor. I have received, and I am humbled for all the support that I have received. As your mayor, I will bring honesty, communication, transparency, and unity for all of us to come together to make our city the best that it can be. I ask for you to go to my website, to ddformayor.com, my Facebook page, and I ask for your support and your vote on August 20th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Didi. So I was mentioning that the mayor's seat is open. We also have 3 open commission seats. That's 4. That's a majority of the commission's going to turn over. I don't know if it's happened before. It's not been in most of our lifetimes. So that's one candidate for mayor. See how to do this. There's another candidate, or there was a commissioner who was thinking of running. He asked me to explain. That's Sam Kaufman, our current District 2 city commissioner. Sam has decided not to run. So, and since he's not going to run, he doesn't come up on the stage. That also brings an important thing. If Sam was to run, he would have to resign his city commission seat for District 2, and we were prepared to have potential candidates come speak for that. But since Sam is not going to run, he's not resigning his seat, so the potential candidates aren't candidates anymore. So, hope that all makes sense. It's a little bit of breaking news for all the. I know there's a lot of press here tonight, so that's a good thing. Is there anybody else that is looking to run for Key West mayor? All right. We will move down to City Commission. Again, these are all open seats. So the seat currently held by Jimmy Weekly, we do have an announced candidate. That is Monica Haskell. Monica, come on up. I know she's here, hiding in the back. And now I'm not going to forget to get my wine. It was a really long 2 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Todd, and everybody from hometown and everybody being here. I do have notes. I have to find them. Oops, because I lost them when I was walking up here. Okay, here we go. And thanks to Richard for hosting this event once again. Thanks to Kelly for making us all sound great. And hi, I'm Monica Haskell, and I'm your next City Commissioner for Key West District 1 and for all of Key West. This is my home. I love it here. And I was not lucky enough to be born here, but my children were, and now even many of my grandchildren here. It's an important time for Key West. As Todd just said, 3 commissioners are not returning to the dais, as well as the mayor. And that is more than 75 years of history and institutional memory that will be not there except from memory. So anyway, I appreciate the dedication and the service of the commissioners and the mayor going before their leadership. Key West is at a tipping point. I believe our economy and our environment are inextricably linked. Experts say that Key West is one of the most challenging communities in the nation for development pressures and growth management. We are a sought after vacation destination with a robust tourism economy. And our quality of life is one of the things that makes Key West such an important place for visitors and such an important place for us. I pledge to protect that quality of life. I will prioritize the needs of existing residents and small businesses. I'll be sure our public investments will improve the safety of the streets and the sidewalks that we drive on, walk on, ride our bikes on every single day, and as well as maintaining and upgrading our firehouses and beaches and playgrounds. And that was 2 minutes already? Okay, and then the big issues like affordable housing and stormwater flooding. I'm gonna study all those issues. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Appreciate your vote, your time.
Thank you, Monica. You know, it's easy when you're watching, but if you're up here, 2 minutes can either go just like that or it can be an eternity. So, actually, sometimes when you're listening, it can be the same way. That was not you. I did not mean you, Monica. You did great. Let's move. Is there anybody looking to run for Commission seat 1? I know there are people actively. I hear about it all the time, so there's a chance that will be a contested race. We'll see. Moving down to Commission seat District 3, which was Billy Wardwell. I am so sorry. I know we have one announced candidate. Great guy. Where is he? Donnie Lee. Come on up here. Donnie is coming over. He's making his way from the Casa Marina right now. Because you didn't know this was coming. All right, Donnie. Here you go.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks to Todd and Hometown for having us out here and allowing us to come and address you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Donnie Lee, and I am a candidate for District 3 City Commissioner. I was born and raised, I don't hear my cheerleading squad back there. I was born and raised in Key West. I'm a product of Monroe County School System, graduated from Key West High School, Florida Keys College, and the University of Florida. Go Gators. I had the honor of serving with the Key West Police Department for 25 years. In the last 10 of them, I served as your chief of police. When I retired, I opened a small business in Key West, and Florida Key Security was an unarmed security guard company. I did that for several years, and went back and stayed with the police department. Now I do some moonlighting with the police department, still working in the schools as an SRO or an SSO. That keeps me busy. But my true calling is public service. There's an opportunity for me to serve right now as a commissioner, and I think that with my experience as police chief, having experience as a business owner in the private sector, I think it uniquely qualifies me and is giving me the education and the knowledge to serve as an effective city commissioner. I have two priorities. The first priority is to ensure that public safety in Key West has the tools and resources to do their job. And that means police, fire, and code enforcement. Because sometimes code enforcement people don't think about code enforcement. Well, code enforcement's important. You know, you want to talk about vacation rentals and all those issues. Well, that's what code does. So it's important that they have the tools and resources they need to do their job as well. And second, but not least, is to start focusing on the locals who live in Key West. We need to make sure, and I'm going to be laser focused on making sure, or trying to do everything in my power to make sure that it's affordable for the working class, families, and elderly of Key West. So please, I humbly request your support, and I look forward to serving as your next city commissioner. Thank you.
All right, Donnie, thank you. Is anybody else looking to run for that seat here tonight? All right, we're moving into the grand finale, the bed and cleanup. District 6, yes. This was Clayton's seat. He also was termed out. We have 3 candidates here tonight. We're going to start out with Aaron Castillo. Aaron, come on up. No props. Take the prop away.
You know, there's been a long time coming for me, being born and raised here. I want to give thanks to Home Pack, Todd, Richard. But, you know, when I think of this job, I think of Lou Rawls. And Lou Rawls wrote a record that you all know you'll never find another commissioner like me, someone who cares about you the way I do. On a serious note, Bahama Village needs a lot of work, and I've been working with everybody in Bahama Village, including my opponent Thaddeus. I have nothing against him, but I'm here to stay. I'm planted. 5 generations. Everybody who came and bought a home in Key West, you are a resident here, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're a conch or freshwater conch or saltwater conch, you are my neighbors. And if you think about the Bible, the first 2 commandments is love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor. All the other commandments come under them. And we are all one big happy family here in Key West. And I want you to know that I will work my bone to the bones. And you know, everybody that asked me tonight did I have any t-shirts, they are on order, but I do have caskets and urns. And for those of you who don't know me, you better get to know me, because I'm the best looking mortician on the island. And you'll never find another love like mine. I want to say to everybody here, thank you for being here. Come on out and vote this term election and our primary and election. But most of all, support your candidate and support your community. I'm done. You'll never find.
You see, it never fails. There's always one. Next opponent for this race was Thaddeus Cohen. Thaddeus, come on up. Shall we start the music, or? Welcome, Thaddeus.
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to be a hard one to follow. The best mortician in town, I hear, takes walk-ins. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I worked at the state level, former DCA secretary. And as a DCA secretary, the first thing you get is 4 hours on the Florida Keys. So one of the things that I was able to do was to be able to get money down here to help with near water quality, to help improve the sewer system. I had a chance to go out to Pensacola, be assistant city manager in a community that was losing population at the same time that Florida was growing. Asked me how you turn around their community. If you have a chance, take a look at their website and look at the Pelican Drop, the largest New Year Eve festivity on the Gulf Coast. Now, we don't count New Orleans because New Orleans does what they do. But in Pensacola, 150,000 folks come to their program. That was me. And when I left that community, they had no space in the downtown as part of redevelopment. It was full. That was me. When I take a look at Key West, I came here as the planning director. And I have been part of this community since the mid-90s. I did the master plan for the redevelopment of Bahama Village, wrote the plan in order to get the Truman waterfront dedicated to the city. That was me. If you like and enjoy the free, fun, frequent Duval Loop, you can hear a theme here. That was me. So I may not be the most handsome as you take a look at your next city commissioner, but I think what we can do is talk about how we get things done. How we take a look at what we do for flooding. How do we take District 6 and make it a priority with more of what's happening in the community? When we talk about the expansion of the Douglas Gym, we're thinking about what we're going to do with the pool. We're talking about how we're going to be able to fix our streets and repairs. We have a bond issue that's being discussed. How we're going to prioritize those dollars for the bond issue so that we can be good stewards of your dollars. So if you're looking for someone with experience who have worked in local government and understands the process, then you're looking at me. And I'm running for District 6. I think I can be the voice for you in working with city commissioners and working to move the city and continue to move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Thaddeus. And possibly our last candidate of the night, John Smith. John, where are you? Come on up.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. I am John Wilson Smith, and I will be running for your District 6 City Commissioner. I want to be your representative because I have your best interest at heart, and I am the best candidate for representing Bahama Village and District 6. I want to be your voice for a better Key West. I am 67 years old, and I am retired. I am a fifth-generation Key West conch, born and raised on this beautiful island that I have always loved in the area known as Bahama Village. My education began at the segregated Frederick Douglass High School, and I graduated from Key West High School in 1975. I am the president of the Frederick Douglass School Black Educators Memorial Project, a local group of like-minded people that are interested in helping all generations in Bahama Village and throughout the city. I also ran for District 6 City Commission in 22, where I received 265 votes plus one. I have been a voice for the people, and I will continue to be a voice for the people. I am the one true representative for the Bahama Village community and District 6, and I am endorsed by those 265 voters, plus many more that voted for me in 2020. I have been consistently working in the community to improve the quality of life for all people on this beautiful island. I am honest and I will tell you like it is. I have integrity and I promise to be a transparent representative. I will help give you a voice in city government, no matter who you are, wherever you come from, or wherever you live in Key West. We need change, and I am the change. I am not an insider. I am you. I am here for all the people, the entire community. I will always represent you to the best of my ability, and I will work to make our city's motto true: one human family. We are looking for hope, justice, and equality. I hope that you will support me to carry out this very well needed position, and I assure you that you will be happy with me. Thank you.
Thank you, John. In case you wonder why I stand up next to people besides checking their peripheral vision, which is horrible, by the way, of almost everybody up here, I can usually see their notes, and if they're almost at the bottom, I let them go. And if they're halfway through, we're no. But is there anybody else looking to run for that district? Somebody remember that district is going to be a race, and it's city commission districts are decided by hundreds of votes. They have a multi-million-dollar budget, but it's crazy because of district-wide voting. Each district is tiny vote-wise, but they carry a lot of weight. So we're just about at the end here. There's a silver. Is there still a silver Nissan Rogue in the way? Evidently, tow it. I would say I don't really like parking stuff to interrupt our event. But did we miss anybody? Did Craig Cates ever make it in from the flight? I want to give him a shot if he did. Is there anybody that wants to run for anything that's actually up for election that we haven't gotten to? And Sloan did actually talk to me about coming to Key West, but he has not, yes. But don't rule them out. Otherwise, thank you all. Thank you to the Hometown board members. Join Hometown. We're a 501c3. We are tax deductible. Thank you, everyone. Stay here, drink Richard's booze, and eat. Spend money here at Salute. Thank you and good night.